as it should. Chai is a superior drink.
I love it.
It is really good. I'm trying to say it's better than coffee, but I'm just gonna leave it that chai is also good, coffee is also good.
Okay.
I have added my dad as a director of our company. So my dad is working with me now in the business.
Oh, that's such a proud moment for a son to have like his dad join his company as a director.
He brings a lot of experience to the table. And who else we can trust more than the parents who wish the best for us?
I have goosebumps. That is the craziest story for so many reasons. Welcome to Call Me Didi, everyone. I'm your host Diva.
And I'm your host Sanjit, and let's get into today's episode. This is our second episode in Melbourne with Dropout Chaiwala Founder. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Nice meeting you.
Lovely meeting you as well, and thank you for coming on. I'm going to introduce I'm going to introduce Sanjit to everybody who doesn't know about Dropout Chaiwala, but I feel like a lot of people in Australia already probably have heard about the business.
Fingers crossed, good things.
From international student to proudly known as Dropout Chaiwala, Sanjit turned his chai breaks into brainstorming sessions and built a story worth brewing. From dropping out to dreaming big, he's stirring up conversations that matter with chai. Again, thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
It's my pleasure and very honored to do a podcast with you guys. You have been very popular on the media for a long time now, and I love the content what you guys do and bring up stories. So I think it's a good opportunity for me too to reach out people in Adelaide and to also Melbourne people who are following you already.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. My first question to you is, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Saturday, day off and long weekend. I had my morning nice coffee, which I've just told you guys, but then I'm looking forward for my chai now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying to him just now that don't you think it's a bit controversial that you drink coffee every morning even though you have a chai business?
I know my product is good, so I have to keep tasting the other products so that I can keep up my product to the next standards. So,
Love that.
yes.
And my second question to you is, how are you, but in life?
In life, I'm good. I'm in a very good position than what I was in before, which is always we dream for. And I think I don't have much complaints, but uh, I think I wanted to learn more things. Get uh, Dreams are always big and high. Try to get closer to the dreams. In life, I am at a very good place and a very healthy relationship. I'm with my family is doing well. Everybody is healthy and nice. So I think I'm in a good spot. No complaints or nothing that I can think of that, okay, am I in a bad place? No, I am in a good place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like when your life is fulfilled in all areas, you feel so like at peace and you have so much space in your head to go for your dreams because then you're like all life areas are balanced.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Especially when you're consumed with a lot of thoughts that which bothers you, I don't think you can follow through your dream or you can think for a scope for development. This is what personally I experience, that when there are few things which is bothering me, let it say family wise or financial stress or with the business it's in itself, then I don't think we can have a space to think of growth. There will be always a thought of how to solve this issue, or there is mostly stress around what's going on. But I think right now I'm in a good space where I think of growth, I think of expansion of business, I think of developing myself individually. So that means I'm not consumed by stress, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. But it makes me think that when you would have started, you would have still gone through many.
A lot of stress, a lot of stress. And being an international student to start a business was firstly a myth, but I came across it and this was what I was advocating for a long time, is that the idea of people thinking international students can't do business is not true. International students can do business. I've started when I was an international student. That was a big stress I had at that time. And business I'm doing first time, nobody is in business into my family. Everybody is 9 to 5. They've been in very C-level executive positions. My dad is in mechanical engineer. Sister is a HR in Amazon. So I'm the black sheep of the family.
Oh my God, this makes me. Do you mind walking us through the early days of when you were building this? Because, like, you were an international student
Yeah.
and you dropped out, as your name says. Can you just tell us more about that journey and, like, the issues that you faced when you were going through that?
Sure. It's good. Taking it from the beginning when I arrived Australia, 2019, when I was 18 years old, I've come to Australia to do my bachelor's degree at La Trobe University. I started my bachelor's of business. I was very highly involved in student activities. I was the president of Indian Students Club for a year. I was the general secretary at the student union, and I was the first international student to sit in the board of directors and council of La Trobe. So it was a full-time job, I would say, almost, and it was a paid job from universities too. So that helped me a lot for sourcing my funding to start my own and fuel my business. And 2 years down, I realized after working in that position that to start a business or to do something, you need more skills and experience than just having a degree in your hand. So what made me realize is having a bachelor's business degree certificate is not a green flag for me to go open a business. Opening business now, doing it now is what a green flag for me for making a business. So that's when I decided in my final year of my bachelor's, I dropped out of the uni and I have started Dropout Chaiwala. The name is very funny that because my friends knew I dropped out of my uni to start this one, they are the ones who suggested, why don't you put this along with the name of your brand? And I was like, it's not a harm thing. It's not harming anyone. So let's go ahead. But I know definitely my family and my parents are going to be disappointed to hear all this. So I told them exactly 2 days before opening the shop that I am doing this business. So it was a quite big surprise to them. And then we had a lot of drama at home. I already once dropped out of a medical college back home when I got into medicine. So that was a big disappointment for my parents. But then the second disappointment is I dropped out of my bachelor's, which I came to do here. But now they're very proud parents. I've turned the page around. They are so happy that we are doing so well as a business. And now they're very interested to know about what's happening in the business, how are we doing. And I got a fortunate thing that this December, we did our 30th anniversary of the business. And I have added my dad as the director of our company. So my dad is working with me now in the business.
Oh, that's such a proud moment for a son to have, like, his dad join his company as a director.
Yes, he is. And he brings a lot of experience to the table. It was very professionally held conversation that would you come up and help us for building our business, and who else we can trust more than the parents who wish the best for us. And I think he would be a great source of strength for me in guidance, and with his lot of supply chain experience and business experience outside the country. He is working in Saudi, so he brings a lot of experience from there. So hopefully we go global few years from now. So
I have goosebumps. That is the craziest story for so many reasons. As an international student, first of all, right, all you think is you need to get through this degree,
degree, yes.
right? You get through the degree to pass your bloody exams, get a job, so you get the right visa, so then you get a PR, and then you're settled, and that's the only path you can take because you have to do these steps to get your PR and get your citizenship. And anything outside of that, even if you have a wish, a lot of people just squash those dreams because you're like, I can't. Like, I have all this to do. These are my responsibilities. There's nothing, I can't go beyond this.
Yes, that's true. I think even I had the same thoughts. I wanted to follow the same path. But working in Lawton Student Union, working with a lot of people locally here, and especially in the position when I worked in as a council director, I worked with CFO, CEO, Deputy Vice Chancellor, and Vice Chancellors of the university. So from there, the learnings I have made is there's nothing stopping you from going to get things done what you want to achieve. All this traditional pathway is the pathway generally everyone wants to follow as well. But at the same time, if you think very irrationally, that there is no gate or a keep way keeping you away from doing all of this. You can do all of this, like go achieve your want to open a business, you want to do a lot of networking. At the same time, you will be following your traditional path to get your PR and TR and get onto the right visas and job as well. So that 1 year of working with high level positioned and knowledge and skilled people has made me realize is it's always you shouldn't wait for the right moment to start things. Starting now is always better than starting tomorrow, is what I've learned. And I think figuring out along the pathway is what helped me the most. When I wanted to start, I did not think about how am I going to survive, how am I going to get onto my TR, or what's my pathway for PR. At that time, as I told you, being naive is very helpful, being foolish, being very hungry, and that is very helpful when you start the business. But if I know what I had to go through now, all I have been through now, I would have done it back again, but I think I would have thought twice, or I would have landed in a much safer position and then started few things. But being foolish is always helpful, so that it helped me a lot to get to me where I am. So
Yeah, I I I agree with you so much because I don't think a lot. Like, I'm not that person who would analyze before posting a reel or just starting something. If I'm like online and I'm just going through something and I find that interesting, I would just do it just because. And that's just the person I am. I'm not a very analytical person who would think so much about doing something before I do something. And I feel like that has taken me so far in life because that way I've been able to try so many different things and figured out what I want to do with my life and what is my purpose of life and what interests me. And that has only been possible because I was able to try and test so many different things without
without
thinking too
thinking, yeah.
much.
I think, see, the fear of judgment, the fear of someone is gonna say something of we are doing the things right or wrong, it just exists in our brains, is what I feel, or in heart. But when we actually go do things, I think the next day there's nothing much changed. We keep doing what we want to do. Maybe few well wishes of yours would come to you and say, okay, you can do this better this way. Anyways, you're gonna do it, so do it better this way. So I think that's the only
So
thing I noticed. For example, very small example is we had one of a flagship store which we opened in Melbourne. It's Latrobe Street. We opened Dropout Chaiwala. It's a 30-seater store which we opened. I ran that store for 1 year time. But what we realized over the period of time is the economics were not working. We were not making profits. At the same time, there was no losses. We were also incurring some liabilities through it. So that's when it was a very crucial moment for me at that point of time, because I've opened a business. I've done 3 stores. This is my flagship store. How do people would react if I close this store down? What brand effect would have happened if I close this? That was a $1 billion question for me at that time, and I was stressed through my roof out, and I couldn't sleep in the nights. But then, at one given point, again being foolish helped me that okay, this is not working. Let's not go into debt, or let's not make this a loss business. Let's wrap it up and try doing another good spot which will make us money. So I closed the doors one fine evening, called all my staff. I've apologized to them that I'm going to do this, and we have given the compensations, and then we shifted few of the staff to our other stores who could still help us, and then I closed the doors. Next day morning, I woke up without any stress that I have a liability on my shoulder. And I was thinking, would somebody message me, or somebody would check that why did you guys to close the store? What happened to you guys? And all. There's no change. People were going to the other stores as usual, getting their chais, getting their food, and they were excited that we were opening in Southern Cross at that point, and they would ask us to open in different suburbs. So that made me realize the fear of closing down that store was just inside my head and my heart, and actually it did not impact anything for the business or people who would trust me. People who actually doubted me have come back to me and said, you made a right call closing it. And I was like, it's a positive turnout from people that they believe that I did the right thing. So that helped me a lot too. So now when I think of, now I overanalyze things before we open a store. because we have built some credibility for the brand, and me not making others fail, because someone who is coming in, partnering with me and opening a business, I would think 1,000 times, because I don't want them to fail because of me. So now I think more than what I used to think before, which is not a great thing, but then it comes with the pros and cons of business.
I agree. Sometimes you have to think that's having a co-founder who thinks is really good.
I was surprised. I was like, she told me she's not gonna think when posting a reel. Then who is doing the check? Now I realize that you're doing the check and putting a tab on
She
Sanchi and
has these
whatever.
wild ideas sometimes, and I'm like, Sanchi, we're not doing this. Like, this is not happening. But it's really helped me. That mindset is something that has really helped me, because I'm still not very active in my personal social media, and I've never, she's been doing social media for a while,
Yeah.
right? And I have not. So the first time you had to post a reel, I was like so nervous, because you're announcing something to the world. I remember our first reel was, our podcast is launching soon, and it's this and that and whatever. And I was so scared before posting it. And Sachi was like, we're doing it. And I was like, fine, do it. And then she did it. And then I just sat there like thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because it consumes you, what people will think, like what reactions they will have. It's so scary, but we did it. And that was that.
That was that.
And the next day you wake up and you're like, oh wow, people are actually reacting so positively.
Yes.
And instead of they don't react, you've done it. And
Yes,
the second time you do it, it's not so scary.
I know, I told you, right? So it's in our heads for the first time when we are trying to do it, and I think after that it is great. But as I would suggest that it's one good idea that will make you work. The number of flop ideas or the number of things which didn't work wouldn't matter after that one good idea. What I've noticed is, let's say if we have two of the stores which didn't work, but then we have 3 stories or 3 stores that has worked. So it all people matter and think about is the 3 stores which worked. There are few critics who talk about 2 stores didn't work, but that's very, very, very less percentage of people who would give you the positive reaction. So I think so it's good that she is gonna bring you all the wild ideas, and I think I'll see you guys going places and doing a lot of good things and great things. And hopefully I'll still be part of that time period of yours.
Oh, definitely. Okay, going back to your early days, right? I just want to ask you this question. Even though you dropped out of uni, how did you go about getting the funding from uni for opening your first store? Did you get that?
No,
Yeah.
I've never received any. So a lot of people do have this question. I wanted to make them clear. I think this is a good channel that we never raised funds. We never went to investors. At start of the business, I had a mentor or an uncle who runs a restaurant in Melbourne. So I went to him. I was a customer to their restaurant. I pitched him that I want to do the chai business. Would you be interested? He said, yeah, I am interested. I'll take a bet on you. So we together established Dropout Chaiwala. He helped me to the leasing and legal on registrations of business and all of that together. And then after we opened Chaiwala, we've been business partners for last 3 years, and he just recently took an exit. That's where my dad and then a wonderful man called Daya, these both has come on board with me to work on the company. So we are going to grow the company now, and we are working towards expansion of it. So we never received funds. It was all our, to answer the question, it's all my savings which I have made. Uh, One working part time. Luckily, COVID had helped us to work full time as well, 40 hours a week. So I took a best advantage of it. And then the position I was in the uni, it was a paid job as well. So all this put together, I've bought my savings up together. And there are few friends who really trusted me and lent me some loans to start off the business. And I think that is very important too, that at that time I was 21, and the friends who lend me money, they were lending huge amounts, and all they trusted was believing in my idea, and this guy could definitely do it. So that all together helped me out, and then we started off with our first branch. Our first establishment was very expensive because we came into the Flinders Street, and it is in the first fine belt near to the Flinders Street station. The shop which we are in has come to lease for the first time in 24 years. at the time we were taking in the shop. So COVID actually helped me. A lot of people say COVID has been bad days for them, but then COVID helped me in securing the space, giving me the thought of opening a business. And right when the lockdowns were opening in Victoria is when we opened 2021, December 23rd is the day I started the shop in Elizabeth Street.
That's mind blown. I absolutely love that.
I keep getting goosebumps. But I want to ask you something, but only if you're comfortable with sharing, you can remove it. But I want to understand how you navigated the visa challenges that you would have faced.
Yeah, so at the time of opening on the first few months were summer break from anyway of my course anyways, but post that I converted my degree to diploma, and then I got onto my TR. So post my TR, I also started doing my bachelor's of social work. I do have a degree in it, and then I got my TR right now on it. So I'm on my TR right now. I'm going to apply for my PR very soon, and my partner as well. She's a master degree holder, so she's also on her TR. So both of us are on TRs. We soon be PRs. So
Wow. You're a big inspiration for so many people because never in their life, like a lot of international students want to start something of their own, but always think that we are internationals, we are on a TR, we are not sure if we are going to be in this country long enough. Like, don't know if you want to put so much money into starting something and we don't even know if it can be something big or not.
I hear this quite common from a lot of people, and a lot of people more than coming on a business suggestion to me, they come on how do you navigate to with the question you asked, the visa. I think you having right connections is very important, especially with lawyers, immigration lawyers, and then accountants. So these both will play a big role, not just in business, even in your personal life when you want to grow. So I think luckily I'm blessed with good lawyers who I know who helped me through navigate through my visas and who helped me to navigate through my transitions. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to tell you something about myself. So I don't think a lot of people listening would even know this about me, but few years ago,
so exclusively from the dropout, I'm hearing from viewers. So
in 2020, I too started a chai business.
oh yes, we were just discussing
The-
about it.
Yes. And my whole passion around it was that in the chai you get in Australia is just so mediocre, like the chai lattes. Because when I see people order that, I'm like, you're just missing out. Like, this could be so much better, right? Because I worked as a barista for so many years, and every time somebody ordered a chai latte, I'd make it be like, fine, I can give it to them. But I used to just think, oh, like, this could be so much better. And that experience wasn't available so easily. So I started a chai brand where I would sell retail chais. But the issue I had was, how do I make this into an authentic experience that can be provided in cafes, right? I have an e-commerce business and people can make their own chai using this at home. But how do cafes adopt this? So do you mind sharing how you've managed to do that to be able to provide an authentic chai experience with your equipment?
Yeah, so uh, as you said, chai latte is not real chai. That's one of our taglines of our business, that's serving the real chai instead of the chai latte. So I totally relate to where you're coming from. Whenever someone orders a chai latte, I'm like, that's not real chai, dude. Come on, I want to take you to my place and make you have chai. So the motto of the business is also that. So our future goals is we want to go to every cafe as possible. Say this is a masala chai which you can actually give it to your customers. Okay, if you don't want masala, we got other list of flavors which you want to adapt to your cafe. So the observation we did is making our chai in our own method, traditional method, like taking the chai powder, chai leaves, and then putting them into the water and then boiling it, and then we add the milk, then brew it again, and then stain it. It's a longer process. That's why Australian cafes haven't adapted the process of making chai that way. So what we have come up is a modern solution which we are looking at is the same chai leaves which comes with milk powder mixed. So we are making a premix of our chai. And that chai premix, all it needs is you have to have the right machine and then hot water which comes through and you mix the chai. the taste and the product is the same as how we do it in our traditional way, but we have made it in a smarter way, which involves very less steps. Is brew like heating up the water and adding the chai, and we froth it. That's all. So it's the, let's say, to put it in simple words, it's the heaven for the barista to make the chai. So that's how we are formulating it, and we are going to come into distribution very soon. And we are hoping a lot of cafes will be on board with us for having our chais at their store. And the main reason we are trying to do this is we want the real chai to be tasted. My observation is there was a coffee era for Australia, then there was a bubble tea era for Australia, and I think we are shifting towards the chai era for Australia. And I would proudly say that we started the wave. We were the first chai shops which opened up in Australia. And now there's a lot of people coming up with the same business concept of us. So we take a lot of pride in it. We take that, okay, we have given at least the thought that chai business will work, and people are now, it's again their credibility. They're taking the risk, they're putting the shop, but then we are a source of inspiration for all of them. Anyone who is going to put a chai shop in Australia, I'm pretty sure they would go and check us out and how we are performing. So that's a great thing which is happening. And I think 10 years from now, you'll be finding how every street has a bubble tea store. You'll be finding a chai store in every street. So that's what I look this as.
Yeah, agree 100%. You did say something interesting there that you were the first of your kind to start something like this in Australia. I know that in the UK and in America and Canada, this model has existed for a lot more years. You've been able to get chai. There's been chai, exclusive chai businesses in these countries. What was that like for you? Because you were the first of your kind in Australia and you didn't have a blueprint to follow.
Definitely not. It was a very good question, which we had ourselves thinking that why haven't someone from global has come to Australia to open a shop or a business like this? That was the first question we ever had. I think firstly, the popularity of the drink or the people knowing about that this drink or beverage exists was way less before at the times than how much it is now. And seeing the demographic increase of our community, or not just our community, I can say Southeast Asian community, now the drink has got its more popularity than it was before. So I think now, recently we saw the news that Philly is a company which is in Dubai, which started, and it is globally there everywhere, and they are coming to Melbourne. So we took, when we read the news, at first spot is, oh, we are going to get a new competition to us in Melbourne. But the second thought we had in our mind is, oh, we gave a global business and pathway to come to Australia and start their business here too. So there's two things from it. So I think now, I think a lot of people, a lot of companies which are in UK or in Canada or in US are gonna see Australia as a market too, because we proved that there is market exists for this kind of business. But that's a competition for us, of course. But when we started, it's all pick and try. We tried out a lot of things, and few worked, few didn't work. Then we adapted our own blueprint, and now we are, as a business model, ready, and I think we are looking forward for expansion through franchising. So I think hopefully we'll be a national brand within a couple of years from now.
That's really good to hear. Well, so I want to just understand when you were starting out during COVID, why did you think, oh, I want to start a chai brand? Like, why did that idea come to your head?
Yeah, this is a good story which is very close to my heart. I've told this many times. So when I was a student, my mom lived with me here for an year. So me and mom used to go for walks in the evening, and we loved spending time together, to going to different restaurants or exploring. Most of the time, the common thing I've noticed is, at the end of the day, we come back home and she makes chai at home and drinks, because there's no chai available outside the places we go. And she's not a coffee drinker at all. I've never seen her having a coffee. So that made me realize, if my mom can drink or buy, if we are going out, she would definitely buy chai, and 2 cups a day for sure. So if she herself can buy 2 cups a day in Melbourne, if I go to Melbourne CBD and start selling chai, my only thought was how many people would come and buy chai from us. And it's a small market research which we did. We have seen 2016 and 2017 there was small chai shop in Footscray which has opened, but then they just run it for 3 months or 4 months and they shut it down. So I reached out to that previous owner, checked out why and how she has done that business. And there was another guy who opened a chai shop in near close to Melbourne Central in 2017
I remember that.
18, and I wanted to check why did they close down. And so I've done my research that chai was working, but I think the major problem was location. So keeping that in mind, the research and the business partner who I had at that time, so he suggested let's go ahead to the center of the city and where we are most visible to our community. So we checked the places near Southern Cross and the Flinders Station. Those are the major two hotspots at that time. And lucky as we found one place near the Flinders Station and we came up with the shop there. And that gave us the most boost to our business, the location and the visibility to the customers that we exist. And that has become like one of the I think pride thing for our community too, that okay, office colleagues who are working from different communities together, now our Southeast Asian people bring them to our cafe saying, this is my beverage, you try this now. So
That
that
is so cool. I absolutely love that. I wanted to ask, so what sort of demographics do you see in your shops? Like, is it mostly Indians, Southeast Asians?
Yep. So let's say 60% of our business is Southeast Asian. We have Indians, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, and Afghanistani people. Then we have 20% Asian people, communities from Vietnam, Philippines, and China. And then 20% we have Caucasians. So this is a mixed group. Getting the first cup to other communities is hard. But when we started, it was 80% only Indians, Pakistani, Bangladeshis. But now we grew our demographics and that's how we came to 60-20-20 split.
And do you see that change happening, that people, let's say Caucasians, or even other communities, are more open to learning about chai and then they come back for the second cup of chai?
Yes, that's true. So we get the first cups to them in events happening around, like let's say of the corporate events, and then we do a lot of sponsorships, and we want to be part of every community event that's happening. And when the community events there, our friends bring their other community friends to the events and they make them drink the cup of chai there. So the interest of the cup starts there, and then that flows through our business shops. And then we have observed that a lot of Caucasians want to try chai. And then the most thing which we noticed is they want to try the chai in soy and almond milk, the alternate milks. We are still in a process of figuring out to give them the best cup. It's been 3 years I started business, but we never served a soy or almond milk chai till date because we are still practicing to get the formula and the taste right. We don't want to give them an mediocre taste cup of the chai because we know how good it generally tastes with full cream milk. So we serve full cream milk here in our shop. We would definitely increase our numbers and business if we serve in alternate milks, but we want to do the right thing. So that's why we are patiently still working. And I think we are almost there. Within a couple of weeks time we are going to launch our soy and almond milk. So again, exclusively on Call Me Didi, that we're going to launch alternate milk options for our shops.
That's so good to hear. I love that.
Eh,
You mentioned something before when we were just talking that mentors have played a huge role in your journey, and given that you're so like new to starting a business, no one from your family brings that experience. So there's technically no one in your family to guide you through that entrepreneurship journey in the early days. Now, yes. So can you tell us a little bit more about how did you find these mentors and how did you make these connections? And if there's someone who is also looking to start their journey in entrepreneurship, how can they go about finding mentors? Like, I'm also someone who's looking for a mentor because I feel stuck a lot of the times
Yeah.
in my business, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I think, see, mentorship mostly comes for me for an idea of when I'm stuck or when I am it's kind of a validation that when we are on the right path or not. Secondly, it's their experience which is onto our table, that okay, this is the way you might get diverted. If you're going through, you need to focus your uh, doing, or you need to focus your strengths on going in one path. That's how mentorship works for me. Initial days, it was so hard for me to find a mentor, and I also did not have a real clarity on what who's a mentor and what can mentor do for you. Firstly, I think you need to get yourself a clarity on why do you want a mentor, and what places does your mentor needs to help you for. So I think if you figure out that one, then it's very easy to find a mentor whom you want to. And I initially went with the pathway of, there are some paid mentorships where you can go on to the courses or get into groups, discussions, and then help you with. But I think the first best way to get a mentor would be get an individual who have achieved what you want to achieve. Get a mentor who is already in the space or the area on what you want to go in and do. uh, Mostly people are very welcome to help you. It won't be an official tag saying that yes, I'm your mentor, I'm going to mentor you, or there won't be any social media post announcement saying I'm mentoring Sanjit or I'm mentoring this. So it will be a friendship which you're doing with an individual, and maybe coffees with them or chais with them, and going for a lunch or a dinner with them, and talking about actually what you're stuck at is what mentorship gives. Currently, I have a mentor. His name is Mr. Bernard. He is not into hospitality. He's into finance, mortgage broking, but then the experience and what he brings in his personal life, what he has achieved, is a mentorship which I'm looking for. To handle success, to handle failures, to handle how you want to grow your business, I think those are very important decisions you have to make. And to be the person to be ready to handle all of this is what I was looking for mentorship from him. So I have a lot of conversations with him about life, about how do I take my success, how do I take my failure, or personally how do I manage finances. And this kind of mentorship helps. But for the business side, I think it's good to always go with, there are different agencies which help you for business mentorship. A lot of people think it's like a scam of money making, or a lot of people think it's just they charge the money and they don't do anything. But what they bring onto the table, you essentially need to understand is the experiences of how businesses are built, how the SOPs are made, like standard operational procedures, how you make systems and processes around it. The business grows actually through the systems and processes and the efficiency which you bring from the flow. A lot of people think price increase or charging more the customer will make you the profit, but we believe in bringing efficiency on our operations and stock or supply chain, and the business brings us more profit. So that's how we look our business as. And we recently joined with a company called Franchise Ready, which I was telling you. So they help in businesses developing into franchise modeling. They help you in mapping across the nation. They help you see potential areas where you can go as a store. They also help you in leasing and getting the right spots. So that helped for us as a business, and we are under training right now to become a national brand from them.
That is great advice. But when I was starting out last year in my journey, we as Southeast Asian people sometimes feel very hesitant into investing in a mentorship. Like, sometimes we will not hesitate before spending on an expensive university degree, but we will think so much before spending on that mentorship, or like something that will save us time, because we value money so much more than time. That's why, like, time saving businesses don't really work in India.
Yeah, I think that mostly comes from the lack of education around this area for us from the childhood days. I think a lot of us has bought up saying value the money, how you spend, then value the time, then value to get the right things done. But I think as we grow up, we outgrow and learn that time is more essential than money. Because I think if you're smart enough, skilled enough, you make more money within less time. But getting you to be smart enough is investing in yourself. A lot of people do not think that as an investment, they think it as an expense. So when you change your perspective of it as an investment of your potential, what income you will be able to get through that skill or that pathway of mentorship which you have gone through, I think that changes the dynamics a lot. So let's just say if I am spending $5 for a morning chai, and that's keeping me energetic for the day and gives me good mood. So it's a good investment I have made for a productive day of $5, right? At the same time, if you say you spend 50,000 or $5,000 or on a mentorship program, and it helps you to not make mistakes of $500,000 or $1 million mistakes. So that means you've saved a lot of money there. People do not see where you can save a lot of money by not doing a mistake. People learn it the hard. I learned it the hard way. Why I went to the mentorship program is I did not have the right guidance in how to grow a hospitality business. I was just a 21 years old guy doing a hospitality business, feeling cool about having a cafe in CBD and doing chai business. But then after a point that will stay with you for a time, but post that you need to see what you want to do with your business. And that's when I realized we need somebody who can tell us, this is your business, this is the potential what your business can do. If you want to reach to that potential, this is the pathway you have to follow. It doesn't need to be the same pathway of other business. Your business will have your own pathway and you call the shots because you own the business. But I think that clarity of exactly what we want to do is really important for a business. So that's how I think we have to educate ourselves that time is more valuable to grow something than the money. Because if I not take a mentorship program and if I go opening my store one after the other, slowly one store an year, and let's say a giant like let's say Chaiwala from London or the Philly is coming now. Philly is already coming to Melbourne. They got a lot of resources. They have been in market for a very long time. They know how to establish a business and grow quickly. So they can take over the whole marketplace which I'm building, and then they can make the best advantage of it. So if I don't do the right things at the right time, and I think who will tell you to do the right things at the right times, especially mentors, um, you will not catch the speed of how you want to build the business. So you can go doom saying that, okay, I didn't do the right things at the right time because I wanted to save money, not spending on to my mentor and learning how can I quickly grow. Or you spend that money, learn the things, and when at the right time and the right place, you think, okay, this is the time for us to take off, and we just go quickly on expanding the business. So
Yeah, I 100% agree. A really good perspective I've had recently is we spent, like in Australia, thousands of dollars, especially as an international, for your degree. You
yes,
finish a degree and then you probably learn, you probably use like 20% of that degree in your actual job, probably not even that in the actual work. It helps you get that job.
yep,
But really ask yourself, did you really even need that degree to get that
yes,
job?
job. So that's what intrigued me to drop out from the uni, because I told you I worked 1 year in that position. What I worked and what I've learned in the 2 years of degree has no connection at all. I learned on the job and then I worked on the job. So that's when I realized that business is also the same. You open the business, you learn it on the business. You won't have everything figured out on the day one when you open the store, but then you can slowly improve yourself. I think everybody waits for, okay, let me make this 100% right and then start. Nobody can do it 100% right when they start, unless you're a series of a businessman or a businesswoman who has done a lot of businesses and know what you're doing. But if you're starting out first time, I think there is no 100% right time to start something. There won't be 100% business model shape which you want to start. You just have to start and figure it out. So that would be my thing, my perspective on this.
Yeah, I agree with that because when we started the podcast last year, like we did not have any equipment. We had one tripod. We used the mics that I had from my office. And we started with the audio podcast and we recorded a voice recorder. And to be very honest, we recorded our podcast on the voice recorder up until last week.
Oh,
Only today we have shifted on a new software called GarageBand and got these new mics right before we came to Melbourne.
But to be fair, we did that for a little bit. Then we invested into other mics and we
Yeah.
got other mics. And we've gone from an audio podcast to a video podcast to interviewing guests to now being in Melbourne and interviewing guests.
so that's a journey. Well done, guys. We're very proud of you guys of what you've been doing. So I think most of the people don't realize that everything can't be figured out at the time we wanted to start. As we slowly grow, like as you rightly said, you got small mics to do. You're doing audio podcasts to come to the video podcast, and this is an amazing setup. I think one of the best experiences of podcast I am having. I've done a lot of podcasts in recent times, but then this was a very cool setup. There was no hustle. There was nothing. I just walked in. You guys were all set, and that was 9 a.m. in the morning. But so it is a good, fantastic experience I'm having too. So well done on you guys. I also wanted to ask some questions to you guys, if you don't mind. That what made you guys first of all think to start something like Call Me Didi, the Instagram page, and a lot of fun what you bring into and love to the community. Secondly, why only podcasts? There are so many other ways and methods like community events, or like now Melbourne is having Wish Kid and all of that. So you guys were also doing the same in the beginning, but then you also shifted that we want to do podcast. Why did you choose podcast? And then
Yeah.
what made you guys to do this is my question.
And yeah, I can answer. Well, the podcasting was a little, in all honesty, for people who don't, I think people know, but it was Sanjay who one day was like, "Do you want to start a podcast with me?" And I was like, let me think about it. But you know what really made us start was we used to go on so many walks and we used to just talk about stuff. And our experiences as people is so unique because I feel like we share a similar mindset, a growth oriented mindset, but we're also immigrants. And we've also faced challenges in Australia that are unique to immigrants, but also us as people who have a growth oriented mindset and want to build something outside maybe of their 9 to 5. So we got along really well. And we realized that there are people like that who want to, you know, have that journey, but there's not enough voices around talking about this journey. In fact, there's very, very few, if you really think about who really talks about the challenges an immigrant faces with stress about uni, visa, like the money you spend, your parents' expectations, the guilt of being an immigrant and living away from your family. These conversations are not had enough. So it was all of that that was like, you know what, let's just do it. Like this is cool. And the event side of things. So do you want to answer that?
Yeah. So we started with the podcast last year, and when we were doing podcast, in order to bring like traffic to our podcast, we started the Instagram page, and then we started making content around immigrants and just housemate content and living in Australia. All of that started going viral. But then this one fine day, Dia's like, Sanchi, I think we really need new friends. Like it's hard to make friends, especially in Adelaide, because it's a small city and it's a very community oriented place. It's really hard to break into that community once you first move there and you don't know anyone. So we were like, okay, well, let's test out an event. And then we made this reel and we just put it on our Instagram. And we didn't think that we were going ahead with the event. We just made the reel that's saying, oh, we want new friends. Are you also someone who's looking for new friends? Maybe we can meet in a park and eat some samosas and get some chai, and like we'll just chat. And that video went viral with like 600,000 views, and like
It it was insane. It reached Canada and Bangalore and where all, and people are sending it to like people, their friends in Adelaide. And it was actually insane. And it made us realize how much of a gap there is because so many more people want this.
Yeah.
So
and it was, funny you mentioned Wish Kid. They actually formed in our comment section of that video that went viral.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, because like people were commenting, can you do this in Melbourne? Can you do this in Melbourne? And then Sarah was like, yes, we can do this. And then I think they made that thing in the comments, and then they met separately and then they formed the Wish Kid.
Yes, I think you guys got the event today, and
Yes, now we are collaborating with this, which is so cool.
that is so nice. I know Sarah for quite a while now too. We've been working together. in the Humans of Australia, and as well as Wishkit. We have been part of sponsorships and other part. So we love giving back to the community that way too. I understand totally the gap which you guys are talking about. Me being a student, I was into the student clubs where we can do such kind of community events, bring people together and make them feel they're not left out. First thing is that. And yes, as we grow older, I think making friends is hard here because everybody are busy with their own lives, and then they need a space like this and or a stage like this to come forward and make new friends and take out the time. And I think it's a good social relaxing thing to people as well, come out of all the bubble what they are in, and then just talk to people, be nice and have friendships. You never know, there would be people who would met and become life partners in your events. There would be people who have become best friends, and there would be people who can find their mentors also in these kind of things. So that kind of things can do happen. So very very well done, guys. You have done a great job, that too in a city like Adelaide. You have done a really amazing job for people there. I think it wouldn't have much socializing spaces like how Melbourne or Sydney generally has. Adelaide has its own. As we were talking, it shuts down at 5 p.m. in the evening. So you guys are creating a great platform for people there, and so happy to see it's traveling interstate. You guys from Adelaide, now you guys are in Melbourne, and I hope you guys go to places to Sydney, Queensland, and everywhere. And I wish you good luck for all of that.
Thank you. I want to ask you what's to come for Dropout Chaiwala. I know you're expanding now as well.
Yes. So sorry, I missed the question.
I want to ask you what's to come with Dropout Chaiwala.
Yes, so we got a few plans in our pipeline right now. We are going to open a couple of more stores in Melbourne, so that would be before end of this year. And we are looking forward to open one store interstate by next year. Like we want to open one store in one state each. So that's our plan. We are establishing, hopefully, we would get in connections with big firms like Coles, Woolworths, and send them some real chai from us. Hopefully, we send some real chai to 7-Eleven, where people can go grab a cup of our chai and then can. We want to make chai available in a reach. So that's the whole plan of the business, and we are trying different means, modes, and methods of how to make it to be having an available in reach. And I think the beverage has got its credibility. The chai has got its own credibility of, and the product tastes really well. And it needs to have some push to go into the market. I think we are doing that. And once it takes off, I don't think it needs our support or anything. So until that journey where it takes us is what we want to push forward to get chai available everywhere. And once it's available, I think one of our missions and goals are achieved, and we would then think, okay, what's next on our plate we want to do. So until then, we will be working hard to get chai available everywhere.
As it should. Chai is a superior drink. I love it. It is really good. I'm trying to say it's better than coffee, but I'm just going to leave it that chai is also good, coffee is also good. Okay.
We would love to cut this clip out and put it onto our socials saying that chai is better than coffee. So if Sarah is watching this podcast, Sarah, look at the clip there. Yeah.
Anyway, before we end this episode, I just have one last question from you. If there was one advice you had to give your younger self who was just starting out in this journey, what would it be?
Younger self, I would give is, I think you have to have education around financial management, which is my biggest learning. I had to, if I had a more financial advice or management, I think we would have been in a very big position. I, as a founder, had made thousands of dollars of mistakes. We did a lot of expensive sponsorships. We opened a store, lost a lot of money there. So that knowledge is what but again, I've done it very early stages. I've learned it so that when we are developing the business now, we don't make that mistakes. One good advice I would give for any person or younger self of mine is just start it. Do not wait for the right moment. Do not wait for the right capital. Do not wait. You just start it. I think along the way you will figure out how things will work. You if you are running out of cash, you'll figure out a way how to bring in more cash to the business. If you're running out of space, you'll figure out a way how to expand the space for the business. If you're doing on e-commerce, you'll try to figure out how to run the ads, how to get to the SEO and everything. I am a bachelor's degree guy in business, but I now know what's coding and how will coding make your website get into the best places, how SEO helps. I've learned a lot of digital marketing knowledge. I worked with a lot of engineers that who built our application for our company and a lot of point of sale integrations. So these are all things you learn which you have no idea for. And I think learning is always important. Stay as humble as you can. Learn every time you get an opportunity. Sometimes you do have to show your bad side or being a bad cop in the business. That is very essential because people will take a toll on you or exploit you to different situations. So these are the things I would advise the younger ones.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to thank you for coming on our podcast. This has been incredible. I've had the best time talking to you. For anybody who wants to reach out to you, can they find you on Instagram?
Yeah, they can find me on Instagram. They can reach out to me, Sanjit at dropoutchaiwala.com, or you've got my contact number available on Instagram as well. Sanjit Konda House is my Instagram ID. I'm available on LinkedIn. So you can reach out anywhere to us. If you want to physically meet, please come down to stores of Dropout Chaiwala in Melbourne. We got 3 stores right now. Let me make some promotions here. Elizabeth Street, Southern Cross Station, and Fountain Gate Shopping Center. So
You must try the chai as well.
yes, please. And we would love you guys to come to our store and try some chai and food. And then hopefully spread the word for Adelaide. We'll be coming to Adelaide soon as well.
Perfect. Love that. Thank you so much for coming. Guys, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.